Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who want to build million-dollar businesses without sacrificing their health, relationships, or happiness, who understand that in order to build their empire, they need a solid foundation, and that the more they are thriving, the more their business is thriving too. This show brings you the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist turned mindset and high performance coach for entrepreneurs, and I help you get wired for success. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Wired for Success podcast, where we talk about all things science, self-development, and entrepreneurship that helps you get to that next level of success in your life and business. And today I'm bringing you another inspiring interview episode. My guest today is high-ticket mastermind advisor and digital agency owner, Chris Williams. Chris says he spends most of his time raising his 5 kids, exploring world communities, and trying his hand at adventures like shark diving, ice climbing, running ultramarathons, and riding electric skateboards. And in his spare time, he works with entrepreneurial and business experts, speakers, coaches, and leaders, helping them market, monetize, and lead their own high-ticket mastermind or group coaching programs. And with that bio, I'm sure we'll have a very fun conversation today. So welcome, Chris, and thank you so much for being on my show today.
Claudia and all you wired folks out there, I'm super stoked to be here. It's just so fun.
So, as usual, I would like to start by talking a little bit about your background. How did you become an expert for high-ticket group programs and masterminds?
Oh, yeah, that's super simple. It's just like everybody else listening in right now. Like, freaking love your show, by the way, Claudia. Thank you for having me here. And all of us who get to listen to you talk with all your awesome guests, we're all already experts in something, right? Mm-hmm. We've all figured something out. I learned how to be an advisor, teaching people how to do high-ticket masterminds by teaching my own high-ticket mastermind. And it kind of started coming full circle. And I think most of us notice that, like we get good at something, right, Claudia? And then people start asking, oh, how'd you do that? How'd you build those systems? How'd you hire those team members? How'd you help that client? How'd you build that cool website? Whatever it is. And you realize, oh my gosh, people don't just maybe want me to help them do it. They want to know how I did it.
Exactly.
And that's where you can start like finding the revenue path to sell your information.
So what was your first group program or mastermind? What was it about?
Yeah. So Claudia, I love this answer because it's so aligned with what you believe as a mindset and health like oriented person, where we're running our businesses in a way that supports our lives, not giving our life for our business. Right. So I'm on my 3rd digital marketing agency right now. And I've had the one I have now for 7 or 8 years, 9 years, something like that. I work maybe an hour and a half a week in that digital marketing agency. I have a great team and great processes, right? I read this crazy book by Tim Ferriss called The 4-Hour Work Week. Like it's probably on your bookshelf. We've all read it, but none of us did it, right? I just simply read it and I was like, that's really cool. What if I did everything he said to do in the book? And so I read it the second time and started doing everything he said to do. And I went from 16-hour days down to 4-hour days. And my income quadrupled.
Damn it, I need to read it again.
couldn't, and I wasn't trying to grow my income. I was making enough money. I was just missing on those 5 kids that I want to hang out with, right? Yeah. So that happened like really quick within about 4 or 5 months. And then I realized like, I really love this system thing. I love bringing people in to run the systems for me. How far can I take it? So now I'm down to like an hour and a half a week. And that was the mastermind that I started teaching first, was just people started asking that, like, how are you traveling? How are you doing all this stuff? How are you doing it so efficiently? So I put together a mastermind to teach people, here's how to run a digital marketing agency without it running you. Systems and processes. And then like, you just keep following it like an entrepreneur, right? That's what we all do. So I did that for a while. And like, I think it was 56% of our participants over the course of a couple of years were asking, hey, will you teach us how to build our own mastermind also? So we started doing that. And that morphed into us building Group Coach Nation and just exclusively teaching authors, experts, and coaches who help people make money, how to build their own high ticket masterminds.
Love it. So based on your hobbies, I would say that you're probably a bit of an adrenaline junkie. How much adventure do you need in your life to be happy?
I need an adventure a day is the answer to the question. I think I'm more ADHD than focused on adrenaline.
Okay.
But when I'm doing something really active or really engaging, I feel calm. Like I think that's a pretty common ADHD thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, trail running versus just running on the street takes a lot more focus and attention, and
Yeah.
that calms me. And so with skateboarding or diving off of whatever or with whatever or those kind of things, that like it just focuses your attention, and I love that experience.
So you're focusing on the process rather than on your environment, or rather on your state of being. Is that what it is? So
That's a good question, Claudia. I don't know. Let me think that through. So I'm focusing on the thing I'm doing. Like I'm being in the moment.
mm-hmm.
So when I'm doing that, I really don't think about my personal state in that moment. It's the environment around me and how I'm interacting with it and what I need to do to make that work.
That's so interesting because I'm a runner too. And for me, it's probably the complete opposite. So when
Huh.
I go running, it's not, it's kind of like an active meditation thing for me. I feel I just my thoughts just they flow. I have my best ideas when I go running, when I do not have to focus on the thing that I'm doing. So it's really
Interesting. Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. And the idea flow and the stuff happens. Like my brain works best, and I get all the best ideas for our businesses when I'm running, for
yeah,
instance.
same here.
But to get there in that state, I'm like looking for the most challenging terrain, or the muddiest path, or something that complicates it, because that's what finally dials back my brain to be able to like focus on something. All you ADHD folks out there, you get this. I know. Yeah, it's weird.
It's so interesting how brains just work differently but get to the same result, right?
Yeah. Figure out who you are and crack the code and go live your life. You don't have to be like anybody else. Yeah.
So what big adventures do you have planned for 2022?
Oh my gosh, Claudia. So the day we're recording this is, can I say the date? Is that okay?
Sure.
We are recording this. Claudia's got a really booked up podcast, you guys. She has a lot of demand. And yay, you, Claudia, you're doing a fantastic job at this. Thanks for letting me on again. January 6th, 2022 is today's date. So when you hear this, it'll be later than that, I'm sure. And Jill and I have not been on an airplane in 2 years because of all the stuff we've all dealt with the past few years, right? We've had high risk folks in our home and our family that we've had to protect, and we just want to be safe. We just booked an airplane trip yesterday, Airbnb, an airplane trip. So freaking excited. And it's in April.
Nice.
It's still a few months away, but I'm just like so excited to get out there. So during the pandemic, we were like buying skateboards and bikes and all the local adventures, outside stuff we could do just to feel alive, right?
Yeah. So where are you going to? Where's your big trip going
Oh,
to?
this is going to sound so boring. We're going to Houston, Texas. I live in Memphis, Tennessee, in the States. We're going to Houston, Texas, not that far away, but we have one of my team, our VP of our company actually is getting married. So we're going down to hang out with her and celebrate with her and get back out there and do some stuff.
Oh, that's going to be amazing. I'm so looking forward to our trip as well. It's going to be in April too. And we've postponed it for the last 2 years. We're going to Italy, which is amazing. Great food, great people, great landscape. It's going to be amazing. And I'm so looking forward to it too.
The last airplane I was on was flying from Rome back to Memphis.
Oh, nice.
Love Italy.
So in general, what would you say is the bigger adventure, parenthood or entrepreneurship, and why?
Absolutely Parenthood.
It is, right? Why?
Yeah. What do you do? What do you worry about entrepreneurship? What are you going to like go bankrupt or have your employees hate you or not get a client? Yeah, that's scary. But what's scarier is, what if these freaking kids hate my guts someday? Or what if I do it wrong? What if I totally mess up a human? Like, that freaks me out.
Yeah. So what's the most important lesson you have learned as a dad so far?
Be honest.
Be honest with your kids.
Yeah, if I mess up, be honest. If they mess up, be honest. If they ask a hard question I don't want to answer, be honest. Just, they're going to figure it out eventually. Why lie to them? Just be honest and help them grow up.
True. Love that. And what's the most important lesson you have learned as an entrepreneur so far?
If you don't have a way to predictably generate on profile, high ticket leads, then you don't have a business.
At least you have to hustle a lot, right?
I paid a guy $2,500 about 15 years ago to go to lunch with me. Spent an hour of his time with me. I still had to buy the salads too. I couldn't believe that. And I was in a place where I could afford $2,500 for an hour, which is expensive for me. I was gulping hard, but I was having success. It was all referral based and people were coming in, more people than I could handle. But we were running a financial and wealth management agency at that point. I sold that to start digital marketing agencies. He said, Chris, love the success, love that you're getting leads, love that you're getting referrals, but you're not in the driver's seat. And he's the one who told me, Chris, if you don't have a way to predictably generate on profile leads, high ticket, if that's the market you're in, then you don't have a business. You're just getting lucky. And from literally that day on, I've spent probably 80% of my time as an entrepreneur just focusing on dialing that process in for every business we're in every market we're in, for every niche we serve. Because if you can't control the flow of those prospects, someone else will control it for you. And they might flip the light switch on or they might flip it off. I don't want to wake up worrying about that.
That's so true. It's all these feast and famine cycles that we see everywhere for most of the service-based entrepreneurs out there. They are familiar with that thing. So one month you might have a fantastic month. You have lots of leads coming in, you have sales coming in, and the next 2 or 3 months, there might be nothing. And you go through these cycles if you don't have the predictable lead generation machine, if you want. And that's exactly why I set up my podcast in a way that helps me achieve just that. Because if you rely on social media, for instance, like what I've seen on Facebook or Instagram, I mean, so many people that I know got their Facebook accounts shut down from one day to the next, and they had built their entire businesses on Facebook, and there was nothing they could do. It was just overnight, it vanished. So if you rely on social media and someone else controls the content and controls who sees your content, that's always a big problem, right?
Yes. And I was going to mention your podcast. It's funny, we're on the same track there, Claudia, because your podcast is a really good example of that. So for all of us who listen to you, Claudia, me and my collective wired people here, we're enjoying the content and the expertise. But many of us think, man, I want to do that too. Like, how do I do that whole process? Because it is important to be putting yourself out there. Claudia, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the rest of us who get to hang out with you. It's important for us to put ourselves out there in a way we can control the input, which gives us a percentage or a ratio, a funnel, whatever you want to call it, that allows an outcome to be predictable. And Claudia, like, you've obviously cracked the code on that. I think you actually teach them that too, but you've cracked the code on how to do that process. So, like, let me just say this about that. Well done, you. Like, you're an expert there, and you're transferring your knowledge to other people so they can be successful quickly. Folks, that's how I got into masterminding. It's just learning, oh my gosh, I got this thing figured out. How can I help people? Claudia's doing that. You can do the same thing. Offer what you got. Like, show people how to do it. Ask Claudia how to start a podcast so you can talk about your expertise and help people grow. Like, it's that simple.
It's amazing. It's like this old saying where you don't, if someone's starving, don't give them a fish, teach them how to fish, right? So that they can be, that it's something that's self-sustainable. They can sustain themselves. They know how to help themselves. And that's what we want to achieve, right? As a coach, we want to help people be self-sufficient. So if you could travel back in time, what would you wish you had done differently over the past 12 months?
Oh my gosh, that's a nasty question. Come on, that's so mean.
No.
Um, I'm just going to shoot straight here. Okay, let's be honest. All right. About, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago, we outsourced a key piece of our prospecting. All right. So we get a lot of people wanting to talk to me or our coaches or whatever, asking questions about building high ticket masterminds. I'm super grateful for that. Love our group Coach Nation community. So what we did is we outsourced some of the management of that lead flow and calendaring, and even how do we help people on the call situation? How do we give them advice? How do we manage all the time? It takes a lot of time for me and my team. And that was a huge mistake. Not because I outsourced that, but because I didn't do my homework well enough on who we outsourced to. So we've since then brought all that back in-house, and we've just built our team larger to manage the workflow that we have, which is great. But I was tired, Claudia, and I was looking for, we're 18 months into the pandemic. It was a hustle. I was just looking for a way to let some things go. And I let go of one of the most important things in my business. And Claudia, I'm not a new entrepreneur. I knew better, but I let my tiredness dictate my decision versus letting the wisdom I gained with my experience dictate my decision making. And since then we brought it in-house and put it all back where we wanted it. But that was I just created 10 times as much work for me and my team than I should have in that decision.
Yeah, I guess we're all human, right? And when we get tired, we make bad decisions.
I know it's fatigue. And you talk so much about that with your mindset coaching and the stuff you talk about here on the show. Take care of yourself, folks. Like, take Claudia's advice. Your business is there to promote you and your health. It's not your health that should be invested for your business.
Yeah, I always say, as an entrepreneur, you are the foundation of your business. And so you have to take good care of yourself. And I'm really sorry that you had to go through that experience, because it's not a fun experience and we all mess up and we all go through these experiences, right? Mm-hmm. So the more we learn to take good care of ourselves and to not get into that overtired, overworked, overwhelmed state, the more we are in control and the more the easier it is for us to make those better decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true. Mm-hmm.
But it's
good question.
So much easier said than done. And I know that, especially as a parent, right? You can't control everything. So every now and then we just have to suffer through it.
I hate that part of it.
Yeah. And I mean, self-development, it's a journey, and we're never really done with the work, right? There's probably always some form of next level devil that creates those challenges for us whenever we're trying to expand our current comfort zone. So with all that you have achieved so far, what keeps you still up at night? What are you still struggling with?
That's a good question.
Sharing that.
I nothing's popping in my head immediately. Let me see if I can think something up here, because none of us get away from life without worries. So my worries aren't around how much money's in the bank or how many clients are coming in or how we're transforming like people through our content, or currently it's not around kids or Jill and I. I hope people relate to this. For some reason, no matter how, I'm hesitating on how I say this, Claudia, because I don't want to sound braggy, okay? I don't have a Ferrari. I've never taken a picture of myself in front of a Ferrari. I'm not that kind of marketer. But things have, like, we figured out our business model. It works. So we're having success. But Claudia, no matter how much success we have, I am always fearful that it's going to stop. Do you relate to that? Like, there's like, it's not that I'm thinking there's never enough and I just want more money. That's not it at all. I'm not wired that way. It's just, as entrepreneurs, we've all had the ups and downs and been on the roller coaster. Like, I hated middle school. All right. And that stage of life for me, I hated that stage of life. it's like I wake up with this recurring dream of what if I was back in middle school? I feel like that from an entrepreneur standpoint. What if it all went backwards? And I know it's not. I know we have the systems and team process. We got it figured out. But that's what worries me. And just fully transparent here. I have a therapist. I've had so much help with my therapy time in the past. Take care of your hearts, folks. Take care of yourself. And that's what I'm talking to her about these days, is just how do I continue processing where I get free of the anxiety and the worry of the what ifs.
Yeah.
When I shouldn't be worried about the what ifs.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so common. It's like they say, when you're depressed, you're living in the past. When you're worried, you're living in the future. So the remedy is to be present, to just be here and know that it's okay right there where you are. You are okay right now.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult for sure. And I think we all have those worries of what if something goes wrong? And sometimes what I like to do when these things come up, I like to question my own thinking, because why it doesn't make sense to always just come up with the worst possible outcomes in your head. What if things go right? Right? Sometimes you have to have these, what is the best case scenario questions in your head, because that can turn things around. There is no reason why there should always be this worst case scenario in your head. And I have had that for so many years. My default setting in my head was just this, what if things go wrong? It was always this worst case scenario. And now I'm teaching myself to rewire that, to go to, what if things go right? What's my best case scenario here? And it helps. It sounds stupid, but it helps, because whatever you're thinking creates a physiological reaction in your body. So when you think stressful thoughts, your stress response kicks in. And you don't want that, because that creates a whole bunch of things that you do not want. It creates this negative spiral. So you have to find those ways that work for you to get out of that spiral, out of that stress spiral.
That's really good advice. That's really good advice. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, I love to talk about how you help your clients. You've already mentioned quite a few things, but maybe we should start by defining the difference between a group program and a mastermind. So what are the differences, and what should we take into account when we try to decide whether we should create a mastermind or a group program?
Okay, got it. So if you're thinking about starting one or the other, absolutely start a mastermind first. Easy answer. All right. So let me explain the difference between the two. If you already have a group program and you want to go mastermind, or mastermind your own group program, well, you'll figure it out here in a second. So a group program is typically something where there's, more people in a program. Let's say there's more than 10 or 20. It's a larger group. You're dripping or delivering content in some way. You might show up once a month or so and do some Q&A. You're leading a larger community, and you're charging people to be in that community, typically charging a lower ticket price. Not that the content or the transformation is not worth more. It's just there's less interaction from you. It's really more like an interactive online course type process, right? Then there is the mastermind. And let's go full extreme on mastermind. All the way down the mastermind path is this like in-person, stay at some resort, get together with 10, 20, 30 people and crack the codes on some very specific things over the course of a weekend or a week, multiple times a year, right? For many of us, though, because we all live in virtual worlds now, and it's just easier to get things done faster virtually, that model has morphed into weekly calls with a more intimate group of 10, 15, 20, 25 people, somewhere in that, where a leader like yourself, Claudia, or me gets to hand select who's going to be in those groups, making sure that group cohesion is magic, so that as we guide people through the process that we're teaching and training them on, we're able to make connections in the group. They crack the codes together. They share information. People transform 5 times as fast, the research says 5 point something times fast, in a group setting where there's intimate involvement from a guide than they do in any other setting, even direct one-on-one consulting where you have the most time possible with the guide, it's slower transformation than in a group setting.
Okay. So is that due to the synergy effects when more people work together on one problem?
Yeah. And so Claudia, you're going to ask a question. You just asked a question to do the synergy thing. If that's the question, if we're collectively talking in a group that's there to build masterminds, your question would have been relevant to 3 or 4 other people in a 15-person group, let's say. And all of a sudden they all had an aha moment and you just moved them 3 weeks ahead by moving yourself 3 weeks ahead. And then somebody else will say, okay, but now I'm struggling with this. Like let's say it's podcasting. They're struggling with figuring out how to do a podcast. I got my technology figured out. I got my show up. I just can't seem to get it on that top of the list on iTunes or whatever. What are people doing? And if you got 15 people in a conversation, they're all doing it together and you're their guide, then all of a sudden they're going to all collectively get there really rapidly, not just because of the good information you're teaching them, but because of their interaction with, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, and what if we did this? And oh, I know somebody who could promote this. And all of a sudden, boom, it just happens like magic.
Yeah, that's awesome. The only thing that I've seen, well, what I've seen in some group programs that has put me off from creating one so far is that sometimes a lot of coaches who start group programs, I have to be careful how to word that, but a lot of what I've seen is coaches get really, really overwhelmed by the amount of work that a group program is, and they get overwhelmed by too much hand-holding for the individual members in the group. And the group works well for, say, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then the dynamic changes and the coach burns out and stuff gets really, really ugly. And one of the things that I've noticed is that sometimes, at least it looks from the outside, that this might be one of the reasons, and maybe you have more experience when it comes to that. So what I've seen is sometimes people try to create a group program around a thing that's non-linear and not a step-by-step process. So what I mean by this is when I teach, so the new program I've developed about launching your podcast. Launching a podcast is the same a step-by-step process for everyone. It can work the same way for everyone, right? That's why it's great. Why I think it could be a great group program as well, because it's the same thing. I show them what to do, step-by-step process, easy enough. But then when it comes to things like self-development or personal evolution, I feel that this is a nonlinear process. It's very individual. Things can show up at the surface that look the same, but the root causes are different. So I cannot use the same process for everyone. And that's why I always feel that self-development and personal evolution are things that are better done one-on-one. But maybe you have more experience around that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So here's a couple of genres. Let's go into this because this is a really helpful thing to talk about for people. The businessy type structure things that are linear, yes, like saving people time, helping people be more efficient, helping people make money. Those kind of things are pretty linear, right? I'm with you. Easy to teach. The more ethereal, heady, heart-oriented things are often, let's kind of play the 80-20 rule out here for a second. 80% of what we as humans experience is really common experience. 20% of it might be very particular to my story, my home environment, my individual life, right? So I mentioned me going to a therapist. I've been deeply involved in therapy for the past 15 years, and it's changed my life. Is the reason I'm still a member of the human race on planet Earth. Can't thank my therapist enough. I've been in multiple group programs, residential programs, and one-on-one therapy sessions. So I've done a lot of therapy. In healing from childhood abuse, trauma, stuff like that, the group therapy programs have pushed me ahead faster than any one-on-one sessions. But here's the magic of how those therapists set that up. Therapy is a great example of this because it's very heart-oriented, right? Most things we struggle with in our category of struggle, whatever it may be, if it's relationship health, physical health, mental health, whatever, it's pretty common stuff. So I see people who succeed in the group sessions as leaders with those heart-oriented issues do really great with their groups if they like have a weekly session that we're going to uncover a topic and we're going to dive into it and share and work through things. And then maybe once or twice a month, they have a breakout session for each person so they can deal with that person one-on-one and dive deep on some stuff that might be a little more specialized. So 4 sessions, it might be like 3 weeks of the month is the group sessions, 1, 2, 3. And then every 4th week, their schedule is full of 10 or 20 one-on-one sessions. That's kind of their big work week. And they go back to just group sessions. So the next 3 weeks is super chill. They're just meeting on Zoom for 1 or 2 hours a week and they get their life back. And then they do 1 intense week. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that hybrid program kind of thing, because I think that's when I think about creating something like that, I felt that the group and the one-on-one both bring different aspects and different benefits to the program. So I really like the idea of creating something like this hybrid format.
That's really your thing and up to you, since you're kind of a business and mindset person. You dabble in both worlds. I'm not much of a mindset coach. We talk about mindset a lot in our mastermind, but for me, I lead my masterminds on a weekly cycle. So we meet every week for training and like cracking the codes together on Thursdays. And on Mondays, I meet with that same mastermind group. We put 15 people at a time in our groups. I meet with that same mastermind group for Q&A. We don't go over any new topics. We just make sure no one's getting stuck.
Yeah.
I don't do any one-on-one sessions ever.
Okay.
So that's my structure that I've put in 2 touch points a week. But here's the thing. I spend, 10 hours a week max on leading a mastermind. And I often lead 2 at a time, 2 different groups, 10 hours a week. Plus my digital agency that I run for an hour and a half a week. I mean, I work less than 15 hours a week. And so if you have good structure and a team member to help support you, you don't have to let it take over your life.
That's true. Yeah, we have to be very careful not to burn out in the process. That's for sure. So what are the first 3 things we should all do if we wanted to start a high ticket mastermind or group program?
Oh, super easy.
Yeah, okay.
Number 1. This is easy. Number 1, go to groupcoachnation.com.
Oh, right? Yeah, sure.
That was not meant to be a plug. And Claudia, thanks for the setup, but we didn't practice that ahead of time, but it's easy, right? We have a lot of resources for free at groupcoachnation.com. All right. We talk about everything you can imagine on how to do this. All right. Groupcoachnation.com.
I will put
there. You'll be able to sort out, are you a beginner, an advanced, or a pro level person? You'll be able to find the information you need. Okay.
Definitely put the link in the show notes.
Perfect. Step 2 and 3. Let's go ahead and talk about those 2 together because they're about each of us as individuals. Do you like communicating and hanging out and being with people? You don't have to be a natural teacher or a Tony Robbins stage speaker. That's not what I'm asking. Do you like investing in other humans? Like, do you mind being on Zoom calls, helping people out? If you don't like that, don't go to groupcoachnation.com. Just quit this podcast, skip to the next one. All right, Claudia's got more stuff for you. So if that's not you, don't do it. If you do like investing in people and explaining how things work and helping people overcome problems, whatever your expertise is, you might be a good mastermind leader. So notice that about yourself. The second thing there, so Group Coach Nation, number 1, are you a person who likes interacting and teaching and helping other people? That's number 2. And then number 3, are you a natural giver? Do you naturally look for ways you can invest and help others? If you do, you probably won't burn out. You'll burn out if you don't get your structures and systems right, but Group Coach Nation has help for that. If you like giving, this will like energize your soul. And I love that part of it. If you don't like giving, okay, forgive me if that sounds negative. I don't mean it. Some people are just not wired to be naturally giving everything to everybody else. They're wired to be more structured, more internal thinkers. That's not bad. That's how we're wired. It's personalities. If that's not you, you'll burn out. Notice that one of my 3 things, Claudia, was not identify your expertise, figure out your market, know how to prospect, blah, blah, blah. No. everyone is an expert in something. Figuring that out and figuring out what market wants to talk about that and what slice of that market is willing to pay you to teach them, that's actually pretty easy. You got to work on the you part of it first. So that's how you do it.
I love that. Thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So say someone has decided, okay, they are a people person, they are a natural giver, and they want to start a mastermind. How do they fill that mastermind as quickly as possible?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm so glad you're bringing it up because, right, if we don't have a way to predictably generate on-profile leads, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
You're just getting lucky. So there's lots of methods. I'm a pretty shy person. I really enjoy investing in other humans, but I'm a pretty shy person. If you look at any of my stuff on social media, I don't post about my everyday life. I only post work stuff, Group Coach Nation kind of stuff. So here's how I do it. And there's like probably a dozen ways that work really well. For masterminds, these are high ticket masterminds, right? You're going to charge people money for this, not $100. You're going to charge them real money to invest in themselves. That has to be
Can you define high ticket in this context?
Yes. High ticket is a very relative number because it depends on what you think is expensive, right?
Yeah.
But in the world of information sharing, anything north of $5,000 is considered high ticket. Anything less than that, you can probably sell with a funnel of some sort and automate a lot of it. And it's going to be way less touch from the coach. Honestly, for all of us in your community, Claudia, having an investment of your time with people one-on-one in a group for less than $5,000 is going to be a dead-end street. You will burn out and run out. You have to charge more to make it sustainable for you and your community. It could be $5,000, $100,000, $1 million buy-in. There's lots of masterminds with all those price points. It's relevant to you and your market. Okay. So because masterminds by their nature require intentionality and time from the coach, the expert, they need to be high ticket to make them sustainable. People transform better when they're committed anyway, so that works out best for both parties.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. That's a very relational prospecting method. So whatever we're doing for relationship building and prospecting when it comes to high ticket sales, it's not make a connection on LinkedIn, drop them a 2-sentence post with a link to check out your cool new website.
Yeah.
People who are going to buy in and trust someone aren't going to do that. People who want your free plus shipping offer might do that, but that's not your market. So whatever program, whatever process you're using, if it's podcasting, Facebook, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Instagram, TikTok, walking down the street, handing flyers to your neighbors, I don't care, whatever your process is, make it relational and make it as real as you can in the sense of like, how would I relate to people if I was showing up at a party and just hanging out with them, not trying to sell them something, just getting to know them. Do that in your market and ask how you can help them. Crazy thing is they'll tell you. Yeah. And if it's something you can help them with, you can get them on a Zoom call. It's not hard.
Those are great tips. And I totally resonate with that, because what I see that a lot of people out there, like marketing coaches, are teaching, those are strategies that don't work well for those offers that are, high ticket, like 5 to maybe 100K or something like that. They work well for maybe medium ticket offers, for anything that's maybe 500 to 2 or 5K, something like that. Mm-hmm. That might still work that way, where you can send people to your automated webinar and have them buy through your automated funnels. But it's at some point, or at some price point probably, that doesn't work anymore, because people won't invest 25K to work with someone they haven't talked with before.
Right. And there's a myth out there that we think we have to have all this free plus shipping offer, then a 37 offer, then a 157 offer, then a 500. You get this stacking thing going on. And then a percentage of those people will be in my community for a year, and then I'll offer them the next big high ticket thing. And that's how I have to work my way up to a high ticket group. That's completely not true. And the people who actually taught me how to build my first high ticket mastermind, I was I was in Russell Brunson's high ticket mastermind through ClickFunnels.
Nice.
All right. And phenomenal guy, phenomenal community. I don't even know how to build a funnel. I didn't know how to build a funnel when I got there. I didn't care about building funnels. I wanted to know how these people were selling their information. So day one of being in his mastermind in Boise, Idaho, at his headquarters in his office, stand up, tell who you are. Everybody in there is like making bazillions of dollars selling their information. And I'm like, here's what I've tried. I've tried launching e-courses for the past 5 years. I'd spent over $100,000 on ads alone, just launching e-courses. I sold one freaking e-course in 5 years for $2,000. Whoever bought it didn't even log in. I don't even know who it was. Complete failures. I was like, here's my problem, guys. Here's what I'm doing. And they're like, well, how's the mastermind? And I was like, it's going good. Been here for 30 minutes. Loving it. And they're like, how's your mastermind, Chris? I was like, I don't have a mastermind. I'm launching e-courses, trying to do what y'all do. And they're like, no. You got to have a mastermind first. I was like, but that's not what it looks like when I'm on your funnels. And they're like, I know it's not what it looks like, but we all started by having a high ticket mastermind first. And that piece influenced and paid for everything else they built.
Exactly. That's how you finance the entire operation, right?
Get paid before you build. That's on my website, Group Coach Nation. It's like, is one of my core values as a Group Coach Nation leader. Get paid before you start building.
Yeah.
We want to teach you how to like land 5 clients at least 5K, and then you build your mastermind, but you don't build it until you know people are going to be in it.
Love that. So what's your main lead generation source for your high ticket mastermind right now? So what's working right now and what's not?
So here's how it works. I'll shoot straight on this one too. The masterminds we lead fill up at right at 50 to 60% from referrals.
Right.
When someone joins our mastermind, advanced or pro programs, their masterminds fill up on their own. Like, it happens because our groups are built of strong people with lots of connections. So our problem with the model we have is that we have such strong leaders in our community. Referrals can make every group fill up for us and our students. Now that's cool
to have.
It's a great problem to have. It's great for everybody who joins our mastermind, but we require that ourselves, my masterminds, and all the students we lead, they have to have 50% on average of their mastermind seats filled with prospecting they control. And I follow that same rule. So we actually limit the number of referrals that can come in. My prospecting, the ones that we do outreach, I love organic social media outreach. Here's why I love it. And I love podcasting. I talk about both of those. I love social media organic outreach because my team and I can control who we interact with. People tell you who they are online. And so we can search for those people and only have conversations with people that we think have a high likelihood of benefiting from what we do. Great. Makes sense. On the prospecting, or on the podcasting side of things, which we title as a broader term of influencers, we love interacting with people who are influencing other markets. Because again, people like you and me, Claudia, who are out there talking about our ideas and our thoughts, we're pretty clear on who we are and what we want to accomplish and where we're going. And that's really relevant. I don't want to waste my team's time with talking to the wrong people. And so when you're out there doing influencer type marketing, it's very, very easy to stay in a very specific target market. Right.
You can see who you're talking to. You understand who you're talking to before you get on the phone.
Yeah.
Or on a show.
Absolutely.
So last but not least, where can our listeners find you online if they wanted to connect with
you? Maybe groupcoachnation.com. That might work out. Let's just, everything you need is right there. groupcoachnation.com.
So thank you so much, Chris, for this wonderful conversation and for sharing all those amazing tips and insights. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Claudia, thank you for investing in me and everybody else that gets to hang out with you. Like, you're doing amazing work, changing our hearts and our businesses. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So take care and talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show or share it with a friend. That way you can support the show and help me reach and support other entrepreneurs like yourself as well. If you would like my help to figure out how you can go from overwhelmed and overworked hustler to empowered and confident leader, check out my website at www.wiredforsuccess.solutions and book a free 20-minute strategy session with me. Can't wait to help you get wired for success. Until next time, take care. Bye.